Joshua Porter.
Feels good to be in the house of the Lord, amen?
Amen.
Sometimes we think we come here, we feel the Lord, and it means that when we go out there, we don't. But man, it's not constricted to the walls. There's a lot of places, like in India, where they don't have a church building because it will get burned down. They said, "Where's your church?" I said, "You're looking at it." So you're looking at the church right now. It doesn't matter about the denomination or abomination you belong to, man. It's a personal relationship with Jesus Christ that really matters. That's part of what I do with Evangelist Reinhard Bonnke. I go into an area a little early. I just connect with the churches. I connect with the people. I say, listen, this great commission can't be done by one person, by one group. It's got to be all of us. Man, that wasn't a question. It was go into the world, preach the gospel, make disciples of all nations, body of one Ministries. This is the mindset that we need. This is the mindset that the world needs. It's not building a castle. It's building the kingdom of God here. There's things that have gone on in my life. There are things that I could tell you, and you could start crying about all these things, and I could tell you all the horrible things that went on, or how even just 2 weeks ago I totaled my car, how I really don't know a lot of things in my life where I'm going, but no matter what I say, the testimony won't be about how I overcame or what happened to Joshua, but what God is doing through Joshua, what God is doing through those circumstances.
Amen.
That's what it's about. When these things are thrown at you, when the devil's starting to attack you, you say, all right, God, how can I glorify you through this storm? It said you will go through storms. It said you will be walking through the valley of the shadow of death. That means you will not stay in it. That means he will never leave you or forsake you. At the end of Joshua, it says that he's been faithful to fulfill every single promise he made. God is faithful. If I were to sum up my testimony in a couple words, it's God is faithful. I don't always understand. I don't always know. I argue with him because arguing with God is biblical. But he just sets me down and says, trust me. As Oceans, one of my favorite songs that I helped learn through this church. The first song I could sing, it says, you've never failed anyone and you won't start now. And God is the same today, yesterday, tomorrow, in 3 weeks. No matter what. And God sees the whole picture. Somebody once said something, and a pastor said, God gives us the answers we would ask for if we knew what he knows. And it's so crazy because we're so focused on this life and the things that are happening here. And these things are real and these things are powerful. But this is a grain of sand on an eternity, beach of eternity. And it says if you're a follower of Christ, affliction will come. Affliction will come. Do not think it's strange. We suffer because Christ suffered. Because there are things that have been in place since the fall of man. I'm not saying that those are reasons just to brush them off, but I mean, things happen. But through those things, to glorify God, if through me losing 20 bucks at a toll booth, losing somebody I love, if people can come to Christ through that act, and that's what it's about. Whatever happens, say, all right, listen, this bad thing's happening, but God, you will be glorified, and we will come through this through you. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know when you're going to do it, but I know you're going to do it because you see the whole picture. You don't just see right now. You see 10 years from now in eternity, and you know what's going to happen. So let me be a vessel for you through this time, through this thing. And that's really what it's about, man. And that's what Boom is about. And let me tell you something. Places are not all like Boom. This is a family. This is a family. These are relationships. God is relational. When you get into a church, you just come in and you leave. That's not a relationship. It's almost like a slot machine. Let me pray for God on Sunday. Let me pray for this thing on Sunday. And let me dip. No, if you're walking in the light, you're the light all the time. If you're in a city, you're the only Christian, you light up that city. The same Spirit lives in you that raised Christ from the dead. We're going to get to heaven. And I'm sure I probably stole some of what I'm saying from Lito. But he said, listen, we're going to get up there. And we're going to say, yo, Moses, you got to talk to God face to face. And he's like, yo, you got him in you. And I just really wanted to edify the body, man. And just, Lito, this guy didn't even know me. He found my cell phone at a jam and he's calling me up, and there's just so many people I can call out. How grumpy Stephanie was, and she was like, I don't know you, shoot. And she invited me to Boom, man. When I took Antonio out, I'm like, so what grade are you in? Man, I needed shoes. And what's crazy, within like 2 weeks, John and Fernando got me shoes. And I was about to leave too, so I was about to go back to Mama. Mama, give me some shoes. Like, they didn't even care, man. They're just about loving. And that's what happens when you walk in that door, and I'm telling you guys, Boom, keep it up. Keep it up, because that is what will make this family grow. Oh, like the kingdom growth. It's about the kingdom, the whole kingdom. So when they come into this church, there's something's different here. To the point that eventually that will be a fire that spreads through the whole country, that whenever anyone goes into a church, that's my family. I don't know that guy, but I know he'll be there for me. That's what I feel when I come here, man. I feel like a family. You've always got stuff going on, man. You have a citywide Bible study. That's the mindset you gotta have. It's citywide. If you don't go to this church and other denomination, that's fine. We can talk about this. Yeah, let's dialogue. Was it 7 literal days? Was it not? Like, that's cool. It's not a reason to push you away. Sure. Because even the disciples, they asked Jesus, yo, I got all these questions. And Jesus is like, don't dwell on those things. Pay attention to what I told you. He said, yo, preach the gospel. There's so much power in that gospel. With the evangelist Reinhard Bonnke, we see 72 million plus people come to Christ. All it takes is obedience. And man, I just want to say, man, shout out to Pastor Frank. This guy every day, you see him in the snow, you see him in the rain, you see him in the back of Walmart trying to like hide the camera. You see all these things. This guy's got a heart to serve. And he's not afraid to show it. And not only that, he's juggling his wife. All these things, man. Give it up for your pastor. I've been to over 100, maybe 150 churches, and I just gotta tell you, Boom is where it needs to be. You guys have the heart, and the heart's what God looks at. And man, I just love you guys. I'm not gonna take up any more time. I just want to encourage you guys. God is faithful. We don't always see, we don't always understand, we don't always see the fruit, we don't always see the increase, but we trust Him that He'll do it. He will keep His promises. So thank you for these minutes. Thank you for all that you guys do. Keep pushing. Love you, man.